Good morning, students. In the last class, one of the physical property, atomic radii, we discussed. Atomic radii is the distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell electrons is called as atomic radii. In this atomic radii, we discussed in terms of three: covalent radii, metallic radii, and van der Waals radii. After that, we made conclusions. The van der Waals radii is always greater than the atomic radii, that is covalent radii or metallic radii. But altogether we can call it with a common name, that is atomic radii. Then, how this atomic radii varies in periods and groups. As we move left to right, the atomic radii is decreases due to increase in effective nuclear charge. Comes to the groups, atomic radii, as we move down the group, the atomic radii is increases even though the nuclear charges increases, because here the addition of a new principal shell takes place, that is dominating the effect of increasing nuclear charge. That means the effect of increasing electron cloud is much more pronounced than the effect of increasing the nuclear charge. That's why as we go down the group, atomic radii is increases. So now comes to the next one is the ionic radii. It is just similar like atomic radii. There the radius of atom. Here it is the radius of ions in ionic crystals. Ionic radii is corresponding to the radii of ions in ionic crystals. Ionic crystals. How the ions are formed? Ions are formed by loss of or gaining of electrons from outermost shell. In an atoms, loss of or gaining of electrons or gaining of electrons in the outermost shell results into the ions. Loss of electron from outermost shell of an atom results the positive ion. Positive ion. So gaining of electron into the outermost shell of an atom results the negative ion. Generally, the atom which is carrying the positive charge is called as cation, which is carrying the negative ion is called as anion. For example, sodium is there. Sodium, by loss of one electron, so one positive charge is developed, so that it is called positive ion. Fluorine is there. Fluorine, whenever it is gained the electron, it becomes F minus. Gaining of electron results into the negative charge. So here fluoride ion, this is called which one? Anion. Like that, loss of electron is results into a cation. Gaining of electron results into an anion. So these ions, radii, is simply we call as ionic radii. So in the ionic crystals, the ions are arranged in a three-dimensional space in some regular arrangement. That regular arrangement leads to a crystal lattice. In that crystal lattice, between the positive and the negative ion, some electrostatic force of attraction is there that results into the formation of an ionic bond. Now, here this ionic radii is defined as the effective distance from the nucleus of the ion up to which it has influence in the ionic bond. Until at what distance it has influence, it has the attraction, so that is called as ionic radii. So generally, with the help of X-ray diffraction, so we are calculating the first the distance between the two nuclei of positive and negative ions present adjacent side. From that one, so we can determine the ionic radii of cation and anion respectively. For example, if the anion is corresponding to or assumed to be a spherical in shape, then this is one ion, then adjacent one more ion. This is a positive ion and this is a negative ion, and these two are the nuclei of the ions respectively. Say for example, it is an A plus and it is an B minus, positive and negative ion. First we can calculate the distance between the two oppositely charged ions which are present adjacent to each other. This is called internuclear distance. So from that one we can assign the radii of cation and anion. But it is not so simple to assign the radius of the anion and the radius of the cation. So from this, calculating the internuclear distance. So this internuclear distance, let us say RAB is equal then the radii of the positive ion plus radii of the negative ion B minus. So it is not possible, okay, easily to calculate the radius of the cation and the radius of the anion, okay, from the nuclear distance between the two oppositely charged ions, just like covalent radii. Here, without knowing any one of the ionic radii, either cation or anion, it is not possible to determine the ionic radii corresponding to the cation or anion. By knowing any one of the radii, either cation or anion, by substituting that value, then we can calculate the ionic radii of other ion. That means, for example, if I know the radius of the cation, then substitute the value in the place of Ra plus. RAB means we can calculate the internuclear distance. Then by subtracting the Ra plus from RAB, we are getting the radius of the anion. Suppose if you know the value of Rb minus, that is the radius of the anion, that value you can substitute, okay, subtracted. So from the internuclear distance of these two ions, then we get the radius of the cation. And that means unless knowing the value of any one of the radii, either corresponding to cation or anion, it is not possible to determine the radius of the other ion. So how do you calculate the radius of the cation or anion? Because definitely we need to know any one. So there are several methods are proposed by the different scientists to find out the radius of the cation or radius of the anion. So that is beyond the scope of your knowledge at this moment. That's why I don't want to go detailed in discussion about that methods. So what here you can remember, first we can calculate the internuclear distance between the two oppositely charged ions, and by knowing the radius of either cation or anion, it is possible to determine the radius of the other ion. So the study of ionic radii leads to the two important generalizations. What are that is? First one is the radius of cation is always smaller than that of the parent atom. Second one is the radius of anion is larger than that of the parent atom. So what do you mean by that one? Let us discuss one by one. First go to the first one. So what is that? The radius of cation is always smaller than that of the parent atom. What do you mean by the parent atom? So from whichever the atom that cation is formed, that atom is called as parent atom. So for example, let us take lithium. So lithium atomic number Z is equal to 3. The electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s1. So the number of protons are 3, number of electrons are 3. So from the lithium, one electron is removed. As a result, the positive charge plus 1 is developed. Then atomic number remained same. The electronic configuration is 1s2 because the electron is removed from the 2s subshell. The number of protons remained same, but the number of electrons are decreases from 3 to 2. Now this lithium is the parent atom. From this one, by loss of electron, whatever that ion is formed, lithium plus one ion, that is called cation. What does he say in the statement? The radius of the cation. That means the radius of cation or lithium plus is always smaller than that of which one? Parent atom. That is radius of lithium. Why? The cation is having the smaller value, okay, than lithium in terms of radius. The reason is very simple. So as we move from lithium to lithium plus, so the number of electrons are decreases. When the number of electrons are decreases, the effective nuclear charge per each electron increases. That means, what is the reason? Effective nuclear charge per each electron increases. When the effective nuclear charge per each electron is increases, that results into electrons are tightly held to the or strongly attracted towards the electrons are strongly attracted towards nucleus. When they are strongly attracted towards the nucleus, results the distance from the center of nucleus to outermost shell electrons decreases. Distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell is called as which one? Atomic radii. Atomic radii decreases. That's why the lithium plus ion having the smaller ionic radii than that of which one? The radii of lithium. So the statement is the radius of the cation is always smaller than that of the parent atom, because so by loss of electron, effective nuclear charge per each electron increases. So as a result, that electrons are strongly attracted toward the nucleus. When they are strongly attracted toward the nucleus, the distance from the center of nucleus to outermost electrons decreases. Distance from the center of the nucleus to outermost shell electron is called as radius. That's why the radius is decreases. So that the cation is always having the smaller radii than that of its parent atom. Then go to the second one. The second conclusion or second generalization is the radius of anion is larger than that of the parent atom. So let us take one example to understand the second generalization. You all know fluorine. Fluorine, by gaining the electron, negative charge is developed. This is called fluoride ion. An atom which is carrying the negative charge is called as anion. Now, the parent atom of this anion is which one? Fluorine. What is the atomic number? Z is equal to 9. The electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 5. The number of protons are 9. Number of electrons are 9. Here, the atomic number remained same. The configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. The number of protons remained same, but the number of electrons are become 10. So now what is the statement? The radius of the anion, that is anion is F minus, is always greater than its parent atom radius, that is Rf. The radius of the anion is greater than that of its parent atom radius. Rf minus is greater than Rf. So what is the reason for this? So compared to the previous case, here whenever the fluorine can gain the electrons, the number of electrons are increases, but the positive charge will be remained same. So when the positive charge is remained same, as the number of electrons are increases, the effective nuclear charge for each electron decreases, because in the previous case, so the positive charge will be, okay, the number of electrons are become less. That's why the effective nuclear charge for each electron is increases. But here the number of electrons are increases, but the positive charge will be remained same. When the number of electrons are increases, when we distribute the positive charge to these 10 electrons, the net positive charge experienced for each electron is decreases. Whenever the effective nuclear charge for each electron is decreases, the electrons are loosely held to the nucleus. That means they are not strongly attracted toward the nucleus. This consequences is distance from the center of the nucleus. Distance from the center of nucleus to outermost shell increases. So distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell increases means simply the radii is increases. That's why the negative ion is always said to be having the larger radii than its parent atom. See, simple. In the previous case, the positive charge will be remained same. Here also positive charge will be remained same. But there the number of electrons are decreases by loss of electron. So that's why the effective nuclear charge for each electron is increases. But here the number of electrons are increases. There decreases. Here increases means, so when we distribute the positive charge for each electron is obviously decreases. When the positive charge for each electron is decreases, they are never strongly attracted toward the nucleus. That means they are loosely bound to the nucleus. Loosely bound to the nucleus is clearly indicates the distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell is increases. So that is the radii is increases. That means by gaining of electron, whatever the anion is formed, that should be always having the greater atomic radii than its parent atom. So these are the two important conclusions we made by studying the ionic radii. One is radius of cation is always smaller than that of the parent atom, and another one is the radius of the anion is larger than that of the parent atom. So the next one, how the ionic radii varies in a group, just like the atomic radii. So in general, as we go down the group, ionic radii increases, just like the atomic radii. For example, the first group elements all are losing the electrons. We get lithium plus, sodium plus, potassium plus, rubidium plus, like that. That is right. All are losing the one electron, resulting the formation of a positive ion. So Li plus, Na plus, K plus, Rb plus, like that. Then what is the configuration we get here? 1s2 here, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 here, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6 here, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d10, 4p6. This is the configuration of the first group metal positive ions. Now, here as we move from lithium to sodium, sodium to potassium, potassium to rubidium. So in all the cases, here the positive charge will be remained same. Lithium is 3, sodium is 11, potassium is 19, rubidium is 37. This is the positive charge will be remain same. Now, as we move from lithium to rubidium plus, the positive charges increases. When the positive charges increases, the net positive charge experienced by the outermost electrons is also increases. When the net positive charge experienced by the outermost electrons increases, the atomic radii, that means the electrons present in the outermost shell, are strongly attracted toward the nucleus or weakly attracted toward the nucleus. So generally they are strongly attracted toward the nucleus. When they are strongly attracted toward the nucleus, the distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell electrons decreases, so that the radii is decreases. That means if we consider the positive charge, that means the effective nuclear charge increases as we go down the group. So the radii, ionic radii, is decreases. But what we say the statement, as we go down the group, ionic radii increases. But because of increasing the positive charge here, ionic radii is what happened? Decreases. And that means there is a one more factor definitely that will be predominant this effective nuclear charge. What is that predominant factor? Is, you can see here, lithium first shell. In the sodium, what is that? Second shell is the outermost shell. In the potassium, what is that? Third shell is the outermost shell. That is very clearly indicates, in the first case, first shell, this is the distance. In the second, sodium plus ion, the electrons are present in the second shell. That means here the second shell. In the case of the potassium, the electrons present in the outermost shell, that is third shell. This is clearly indicates the effect of increasing the electron cloud from the nucleus. It is increases from lithium to sodium, sodium to potassium plus. So here from the positive ions of lithium to sodium, sodium to positive, the potassium ions, the electron cloud is increases clearly indicates the distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell is what happened? Increases. That means because of the addition of new principal shell in every way, the distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell is increases. And that means the effect of increasing electron cloud increases. Effect of increasing electron cloud is increases means the distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell is increases. That is supported the radii is increases. And that means this is the dominating factor over the effective nuclear charge. That's why as we go down the group, the ionic radii is increases even though increasing the effective nuclear charge, because the effect of increasing the electron cloud is much more pronounced the effect of nuclear charge. That means it is dominating the effective nuclear charge. That's why we are considered this factor instead of this one. So effect of increasing cloud will be supporting to which one beta? The distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell is increases. That's why ionic radii is increases. So the statement is, as we go down the group, ionic radii is increases due to increasing the effect of increasing the electron cloud. So the another important topic in this ionic radii, variation of size in isoelectronic series. So what do you mean by the isoelectronic series? Which ions are called isoelectronic ions? Isoelectronic means, it's very clear, iso means same number of electrons. Whichever the species are having the same number of electrons, they are called isoelectronic ions. Isoelectronic ions are ions of different elements which have the same number of electrons but different from one another in magnitude of nuclear charge. The same number of electrons are present but different number of protons. So they carry some charge. So they are called as isoelectronic ions. For example, N-3, O-2, F minus, Na plus, Mg plus 2, Al plus 3. So see, in this case, the atomic number you know very well. In the case of nitrogen, it is 7, here 8, here 9, sodium 11, magnesium 12, aluminium 13. So the positive charge, that is protons. Protons are differ from one atom to the another atom. Here 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13. But when it comes to the electrons, here nitrogen normally having the 7 electron, but it is carrying the negative charge -3. Negative charge clearly indicates gaining of electrons. How much negative charge is carries here? 3. So that's why 3 electrons are gained. So total 7 plus 3, 10 electrons. Oxygen carrying the 2 negative charge. So that's why normally 8 and plus 2 electrons, 10 electrons. Fluorine, 9 electrons are normally present, but it's carrying 1 negative charge. 9 plus 1, 10. So your positive charge is carried. Positive charge is carried by the atom whenever it loses the electrons. Your plus 1 is there, that's why losing 1 electron from the sodium. So having the 10 electrons. Magnesium, carrying the plus 2 charge indicates it loses the 2 electrons. So 12 minus 2, that is 10. Aluminium carrying the plus 3 charge, 13 minus 3, then we get 10 electrons. All these from N minus 3, O minus 2, F minus, Na plus, Mg plus 2, Al plus 3, all are having the same number of electrons, but their magnitude of the positive charge, that is number of protons, are different. That's why all together we call as simply isoelectronic ions or isoelectronic series. Now the question is here, among these isoelectronic ions, which is larger in size, which is smaller in size? That is, we have to be predict. Here, to identify which is larger in size and smaller in size, let you concentrate on the positive charge and the number of electrons. The number of electrons in all the isoelectronic ions are same, but which is different? Positive charge is different. When the positive charge is different, the effective nuclear charge for each electron is definitely different from one ion to the another ion. Because whenever you are distributing this positive charge for these 10 ions, wherever the positive charge is more, there the electrons are feeling or experiencing more positive charge from the nucleus. When they are experiencing the more positive charge from the nucleus, definitely they are strongly attracted toward the nucleus. When they are strongly attracted toward the nucleus, the distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell electrons decreases. So the distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell electrons is decreases means atomic radii is decreases or ionic radii is decreases. So that's why wherever that positive charge is more, their effective nuclear charge is more, there the electrons are strongly attracted toward the nucleus. As a result, the distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell electrons decreases, that is having the smaller in size. Now you can observe in these isoelectronic ions, among these isoelectronic ions, in the case of Al plus 3, more amount of positive charge is there. That's why in the case of the aluminium plus 3 ion, so the electrons are strongly attracted toward the nucleus. So that's why, so here the distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell is decreases. That's why Al plus 3 is in smaller in size. But whereas in the nitrogen, the positive charge is very less compared to the rest of the ions. That's why here the electrons are not strongly attracted toward the nucleus compared to the rest of the ions. So that's why here the distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell is in large. That's why N-3 having the larger in size, Al plus 3 is in smaller in size. As we move from N-3 to O-2, O- to F minus, F minus to Na plus to Mg plus 2, Mg plus to Al plus 3. So the positive charges increases, the effective nuclear charge for each electron is increases, the attraction toward the nucleus is increases. That consequence is the distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell is decreases, the size is also decreases. So then what is the order for this one? N-3 is larger in size, is greater than O-2, is greater than F minus, is greater than Na plus, is greater than Mg plus 2, is greater than Al plus 3. That means Al plus 3 is in smaller in size, whereas the N-3 is larger in size. Larger in size. So simply, whenever the isoelectronic species exist, to find out which is larger in size to which is smaller in size, simply you can find out the number of protons. Wherever the number of protons are more in the isoelectronic ions, that should be have the smaller in size. Wherever the less number of protons are present, that is always said to be larger in size. And simply by seeing by calculating the number of protons, it is very easy to say which is larger in size, which is smaller in size in the case of isoelectronic ions.